Active Investor here, bringing you another independent analysis, and this time we're taking another look at NETE elements. So this is a follow-up to the video I made on Thursday when we were looking at the one-day chart for NETE element, and this is the same deal, also a one-day chart, each candlestick representing a one-day time frame. However, we do have 2 more days of data to look at now, and the price really has kind of gone along with what we were expecting. So let me follow up on that last video, and let me also make a disclaimer for this video that I'm going to do something I have never done before in any video I've made, any analysis video I've made, and you guys will see what that is when we get to it in just a minute or two. Anyway, for now, let's take a look at this chart. So the last day that we were looking at when I did that analysis was Thursday, and that was right when we had this doji. So we didn't have these 2 candles yet. We just had this doji right here. And our Tenkin and Kaijin lines, the blue and orange lines, they weren't yet crossed. They were sitting right on top of each other. So I was predicting in that video that we would see volatility. It was hard to get a certain direction on the price, but we could definitely see that there was going to be some volatility coming. And that did occur. If you guys have been watching NETE Element intraday, which I'm sure a lot of you have, I'm sure you've seen these candles where we've seen the price really stuck around 33 cents a lot, but on the 1 minute time frame and the shorter time frames, you've seen some of these candles stretch from like 31 cents to like 34 cents or so. So some of these candles have had like 5 to 10% swings in them. So there's been a lot of volatility the last few days on NETE Element, but for the most part, the price has hung around that 33 cent mark, which is actually really interesting. Anyway, getting back to the Tenkin and Kaijin line, the blue and the orange line I'm referring to, you can see that with the data we now have, the last 2 days, the Kaijin, or rather the Tenkin, not the Kaijin, the Tenkin did actually cross above the Kaijin, and that's a bullish sign. We want that blue line to be above the orange, and when that cross does happen, it's usually a bullish signal, and we usually do see the price start rising to the upside. Now that hasn't quite happened yet. The price actually did go even lower, even though that cross happened, which is really interesting. But keep in mind that cross is a bullish sign. If you take a look back here at this cross, we had the Tenkin cross happen there, and look, shortly after that cross, we had that huge run up. So just because the price hasn't ran up yet doesn't mean it won't. That cross did happen, and we can still definitely see a bullish price increase. What we do need is we need the candles to be above both the blue and orange line, above the Tenkin and the Kaijin, and that's why we haven't seen that run yet. You can see here when the price, or rather when the Tenkin cross did happen, it took a couple days. It took 3 days before that candle really broke above. So we're on day number 2 now. Hopefully within the next day or 2, we start to see this price move up above the Tenkin line, and if it does, we will see a run. We'll see a run probably up to about 40 or 42 cents at least, and I'll get to that in a second. But let's take a look at our relative strength index and our MACD following up from the last video. So the MACD indeed stayed bearish. Hold on a second, actually. Let's see. So that's right. In the last video, we were actually bullish on the MACD. So we have crossed bearish now since the price has gone down since that doji occurred. And following the MACD, the RSI is also going down. But it still has a chance to bounce from this 20 line and continue up. And the MACD is still above the 0 line. So even though it crossed bearish, the bearish cross was above the 0 line, which is, not the most bearish sign. It's still above the 0 line, which is really good. If you take a look here where we crossed bearish below the 0 line, look, that's where we had this huge selling off. So you don't ever want to see that bearish cross, but you especially don't want to see it below the 0 line. So the fact that we had the bearish cross above the 0 line is nice. It's good. The RSI we need to see start legging up. We want that to be above the 80 zone, of course. When we were above the 80 zone here, we had that huge run, as I showed you in the last video. So basically, we had the pullback that we were expecting. In the last video, I said the price would probably be volatile, and it looked like it would go up or down. Of course, it was hard to really get a judge per se, but I said if it does kind of pull back, it probably wouldn't pull back all too much. So we're seeing that pullback happen, but there's still a lot of upside to be had, and those earnings are still coming around the corner. So I think, honestly, this is starting to begin to prep up for that earnings spike. And it's good that the price is dipping. It's going to give us a chance to get in at a lower price before that earnings run. Let's see, what else to cover? I think that's about it on this chart. Now, in the beginning of this video, I said that I was going to do something I had never done yet in any video. and I'm actually going to do that right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up another chart. I'm a big fan of all these indicators, and not usually, I am a big fan of all these indicators, but the chart I'm about to post right now is also the same one-day chart. However, this is going to be showing you the moving averages. And let me show you why that's so important. So, sorry, this kind of got a little disproportioned. Let me edit that 1 second. Let's see. Well, you know what? I'm sorry, I can't really edit it. It's going to look a little weird, but we'll just be covering this really briefly. So this is the moving average chart. Now, I'm not a moving average expert, and I do prefer the Ichimoku cloud for this kind of indicator. However, I do know how the moving averages work, and I do look at them from time to time. And what we have here on NETE Element is extremely, extremely bullish on the moving averages. If you take a look, let me just first say that the blue is the 10, the green's the 20, the yellow is the 50, the orange is the 100, and the red is the 200-day moving average. If you take a look to where we ran here, let me just change the color. Where we ran here, well, it still didn't change, that's weird. Where we ran here, you can see that we had the blue 10-day moving average cross above the other moving averages, and the candles were also above there. Now, the cross really happened right around here, and that's where we had this huge run-up. Now, following the same thing on this run-up here, you can see that that blue 10-day moving average crossed above the 200-day moving average, and it was above all the other moving averages, which is extremely bullish, and that's when we had the run. Now, look what's occurred here again, guys. Once again, look. We have this beautiful, beautiful setup. The 10-day blue moving average has crossed above the green 20-day moving average, but not only that, this is the perfect setup for a bullish uptrend. You have the 200, then the 100, then the 50, then the 20, and then the 10-day moving average. That's the perfect setup for a run. Now, as these moving averages start curving up, that's going to indicate that the uptrend is stronger. And I really, really, really think that this thing is getting primed to break out. It's just, this is a beautiful chart here. The indicators that we're looking at on the last chart was getting to be more bullish, but this is even more bullish, really. All the moving averages are in perfect line. The only issue is that the candle itself is below the 10-day moving average. We need to see the candles be above that blue 10-day moving average. You can see here they were above the moving average, and here they were also above the moving average. But aside from that, everything is primed for a breakout on this chart. We just need to see that candle leg up a little bit. If we can break that 33-cent channel that we've been stuck in, and we can really break it to like 35 cents, we'll be above all the moving averages, and this thing will be primed to break out. And I'm confident that we will most likely see a breakout all the way to about 44 cents. Now, if we do break out to 44 cents, there is one really bearish sign to watch out for, guys. So be aware that this could happen. If we do break out and we do run the 44 cents, there's a chance that we don't break the 44-cent resistance and we get denied. If that happens, we will have formed a triple top, and that is a bearish reversal sign, and the price literally might tank down big time. And we have seen that in the past. As you guys can see here and here, after the earnings run, the price just got annihilated. Although, on this last drop, it recovered pretty nicely, and I think that has a lot to do with the upside fundamentally that NETE Element is starting to come into. But that said, if we don't break the 44-cent mark, let me reiterate, if we run to the 44-cent mark and don't break it, we will have formed a triple top, and that price will probably fall down pretty hard. So just keep that in mind, guys. Alternatively, if we break the 44-cent mark, there's a chance that it can turn to our new support. And boy, can you guys imagine we break out of this 33-cent channel and we find new support at 44 cents? Gosh, I'm excited to see what NETE Element does coming up. I'm really excited to see, because like I said, this thing is looking like it is primed, and I could expect it to see a run to that 44-cent area. Anyways, guys, I know this video was a little bit different than my normal analysis videos. I don't really ever look at the moving averages on here. There is absolute merit to them, but my trading strategy revolves a little bit more around the Ichimoku cloud, and they do similar things. But I did see this pattern on the moving average chart, so I just had to show you guys because it just is literally beautiful. Anyway, have any comments or questions, please post them. I'm more than happy to answer them, and I've had some requests to do another NETE Element video, so that's why I've done this one. And not only that, but I do love NETE Element, as you guys know, so I'm hoping to see this thing start a breakout to 44 cents. Let's get it going. Anyways, I will catch you guys later.